Welcome back to today's Your Daily Scrum podcast with Ryan Ripley and Todd Miller. We are professional Scrum trainers with Scrum.org and lead trainers at Agile for Humans.
And we're
Todd,
back.
We are back. What's up,
Your
Todd?
Daily Scrum. What's up? If we're going back to that, what's up?
What's up? All right, Todd, we got a fun question this week.
Yeah.
That came in. What do we need to get started with Scrum? It seems like why would anyone ask that? But it's a really good question. Like, what's the minimum that we need to get started? And we've talked about this a number of times, and I think we've got an idea here. I think you need a product goal. I think we think you need a product goal. We need a Scrum team, and we need some PBIs, at least one, right?
Yeah, enough PBIs that you can plan your first sprint. But I want to get started as soon as possible, Ryan.
Yeah, as soon as responsibly possible is the way that we say it, because the longer we wait, the more upfront planning we do, the greater risk we take.
Yeah.
And and people are like, well, wait a minute, upfront planning can be helpful. Some can, but the more you do, the further away you are from getting feedback from a customer. And that's risky, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that we talk about all the time is almost this thing that I've become scared of, and that's not being in empirical process control, not having a cadence where we're inspecting and adapting and making our work transparent, right? I'm scared of not being in that, right? I want to get to that as soon as possible. I think this is the good bare minimum: product goal, Scrum team, PBI, and it might not be the perfect Scrum team or have everything that you may end up having in the future in that team. Right. But I think this is good bare minimum, right?
Yeah, I do too. Now, there's some people out there yelling at their monitors saying, no, Todd and Ryan, you have to have more. Well, look, we do think there are some first sprint considerations that have to happen, right? I mean, right out of the gate, I would even say during sprint planning, we should craft a very basic definition of done.
Yes, 100%. And how strongly I feel about definition of done. So it hurt me to exclude it from the list, but I agree with it. But by the end of this first sprint, we should have one, right? It's a commitment to the artifact of increment, and it really helps to make our work transparent. So to me, it's fundamentally required by the end of this first sprint.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think some other considerations, there's probably going to be some architectural things going on. There's going to be some tools that we need to, those are things we can figure out early on in a sprint. There's going to be some product backlog refinement happening during a sprint. The point here is we can often start sooner than we think, and that we can iteratively and incrementally add the practices and the architecture and the needs of a team as we learn about the work by doing the work, right? I mean, let me give this pro tip. Do not use waterfall to adopt Scrum.
Right. Yeah.
All right. We don't want to use waterfall to become agile. This is not the way. Right.
This is not the way. How many times I've been in a circumstance where I go in to do some consulting and people are like, well, we're going to define exactly what Scrum is going to look like in our organization in SharePoint before we get started. And I'm like, no. First of all, every implementation you have with Scrum in this organization is going to be different. And second, let's get started. Let's do the work. We need to really start just working because that's where we're going to figure out the work that we have to do. Right?
Exactly. The work is emergent. Our use of the framework is emergent. The practices that we end up adopting, they're going to be good for now, and hopefully they're good later. There's no best practices. There's just what we're trying to do today. So again, don't use waterfall to adopt Scrum. If you have a product goal, a Scrum team, and some PBIs, you can get started on the work. Is it going to be a perfect vision or view of Scrum on day one? No. These first sprint considerations are going to come into play. Get your definition of done set up, start looking at architecture and tooling, but these things will emerge and change, and you'll inspect and adapt over multiple sprints because we're not going to use waterfall to adopt Scrum.
Right. And, you said a word in there that really stands out to me. This actually would probably be something we can make a show on is perfect.
Right.
Because can you have a perfect implementation of Scrum?
Never.
No, it's, and I would say if you feel like it is perfect, I'd be suspicious of that. right? Because are we adapting at this point? Are we failing to adapt because we think that we're perfect?
You know, Todd, maybe tomorrow's episode we'll talk about, does perfect exist in a complex environment?
Yeah.
Ooh. Maybe someone submit that question.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, someone submit that question in the comments so that we can have that discussion. But we'll tell you what, I think we've answered this. And so for all of you out there, we love your questions. Please keep them coming. We enjoy this. And so not only do we hopefully put out some content that helps you, but we actually like sitting down and talking about these things.
Yeah.
Leave us a question in the YouTube comments. Hit us up at our Ryan at agileforhumans.com, Todd at agileforhumans.com. We're on all the socials, so there's plenty of ways to submit your questions. And who knows, maybe your question will end up on a future edition of Your Daily Scrum. So thank you very much, Todd. As always, good to see you. And we will be back tomorrow to talk more about your questions.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. Smash the like button. Check out the socials. Leave us a comment on this YouTube video. Let us know what your minimum for Scrum is. We'd love to hear about it and how it worked for you. Check out our book, Fixing Your Scrum, Practical Solutions to Common Scrum Problems. This book could help you. If you're currently struggling in your Scrum practice, visit agile4humans.com to check out where you can buy it today. And as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you.